So this video is going to talk about time status calculation. I'm probably going to tell you a little more than you need to know when you're running baseline Banner reports, but it's everything that the registrar needs to know when they're actually setting up time status calculations and how it should be done in Banner. The reason we reference this job in the baseline Banner reports workbook is because you should run the job prior to running your error report just to ensure you don't have any problems. So this probably has more information than you're going to need when you're reviewing the baseline Banner reportings, but it has everything that's needed for the registrar when you're learning the part of how do I deal with time status calculations. So time status calculation is extremely important because what this does is it calculates if the student is considered full-time, part-time, half-time, depending on your college's rules. So the time status rules, they must be built on SFA TMST prior to registration beginning for a term. So it's very important that you should have these rules built before you start trying to attach time status rules to a student's record. The record will get hung up with a 00 if you don't have any rules selected, but you have the system set up to automatically configure time status, or you run the batch process. So you have to build the rules. In order to do that, you will need to know the time status rules for your college. The rules are term effective, which means if your time status rules are the same for the fall and spring semester, but different for summer, you would only build new rules for the fall and summer. So term effective means if I build a set of rules and those rules are effective from this term forward, then I don't have to build new rules every semester. But if you have where your rules are the same in the fall and the spring, but they're different in the summer, then you would have to build new rules. So to build the rules, you would actually go to SFA TMST. So these are the rules that are currently built for the college I'm using as my example. Now, I want to show you, I'm going to query by a term so that you can see the rules they have for that term. So let me filter, and I'm just going to do 2013-10, which is a fall term. I'm going to select go. Oh, sorry, did that one. Interesting enough, they only had one rule. So let me try a later term. Might have been a mistake in the beginning. Okay, so this is more like it. So you'll see that for 2016-10, for their level undergraduate, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rules. So they have less than half-time, half-time, full-time, three-quarter time, and then no time at all. So it says for three-quarter time, the student would have 9 to 11.9 hours. Full time would be 12 to 99. Half time is 6 to 8.99. And then less than half time is 0.1 to 5.999. Now, I'm not saying these are your exact rules for your college. This is something you have to meet with your academic people and financial aid and get the clear definition of your time status rules. Everyone's could be a little different. So I showed you that this is the ones for 2016-10. Now let me show you a summer one. Because almost every college, I think, in our system has to do them different in the summer because the rules are different in the summer as far as I know. So you'll see that for your summer rules, you'll see there is a change. So full-time in the summer is 6 hours, so 6 to 9. Whereas in the fall, it was 12. So that's when you have to build a whole new set of rules. So they used their 2016-10 rules for their 2016-10 term and 2016-20 because they were the same. But when summer came, those rules were different. I also saw that they're building some for their little mini terms. Let me see what they got going on there. I didn't get anything, so let me just... I'm going to go out and go back in. I want to see what they have for their mini term. $2017-25. So let's filter for $2017-25. So 2017-25 is a mini term. It's a I think that's the winter session or the Maymester. It's one of those. But I just wanted to show you that they even built rules for their mini session. So because their mini session rules were different than their fall and spring, they had to, build those rules. So it's very important that your rules are built. And once again, if you're watching this video because you're going to be running the clearinghouse report, this should have already been done by the registrar prior to registration even happening. So it shouldn't be a problem when you get to the point where you're running the clearinghouse report. But the reason I'm showing you this is so you understand the process and also start to understand why we tell you to run the batch process before you run the clearinghouse report. So the next thing is how is time status applied to student records. So there's two ways to apply time status to a student's record. So it can be done immediately upon the student registering or the student changing his or her registration. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So for that, you would access SOATERM. So we're going to X out of this form. I'm going to go to SOATERM. And I'm just going to put in any term and then select go. But you put in the term you're actually working with. And then on the registration tab, in the schedule block, you'll see right here where it says calculate time status. So if you have this box checked, this icon checked, you're telling the system every time a person registers or changes their registration, you want them to recalculate their time status. Now, I will tell you that it has been recommended that you all do not do that during your peak registration time because it really taxes the system to do that. So the recommendation is to not select the calculate time status in icon until after you get through peak registration. And that may be like the first day of class. So the first day of class, you may say, okay, we're through our peak registration. I'm going to go to SOATERM. I'm going to select the calculate time status icon. And then I'm going to run the batch process to update all records that don't have a time status because we weren't running that during this period. That is strongly recommended because of this tax that the system could have on during the registration cycle. So you want to keep that system where it's not so tight, where it's bogging down or running so slow just because you're trying to add a time status, which isn't even important at that particular time. Time status becomes important after classes start and you start running reports and reporting to NSC. So this is how it's done, but not recommended that you do that until after your peak time of registration. Then there's the batch process, and the batch process is what you're going to run right before you run the NSC report, and that's to ensure that every student has the correct time status and their time status has been updated. So to run the batch process, you simply go to SFRTMST. And you select go, and then you select next section, and then you enter the term in which you want to run the process for, and then in parameter number 4 you run that in, put U for update, And then you perform a next next section, and you hit select save. Now notice I didn't mention some of the parameters because those are not important. Just leave them along as they are and let Banner do what it's going to do. When I'm providing directions or doing videos, I only focus on what you need to know. So now I'm going to want to look at my output. And this is important when you're running your NSC report. When you run this job, you want to go look at your output just to make sure that it completed successfully. So you want to make sure that it completed successfully. So in order to do that, you're going to select Related, select Review Outputs, and then you're going to double click on the ellipsis next to File Name. Now note, sometimes you'll get a message up here that says, error, there is no saved output for the process name. That just means the job is still running. So you don't get panicked by that. You just realize the job is still running. So you could go ahead and check the list file, and all you do is double click on it, and you will see that you had no issues, which is awesome, I think. Yep. All right, so good deal. So the time status ran and everyone's record looks good. So now, for you, when you're running the NSC report, you're ready to move to the next step. If you're the registrar just running this to get started, like say you went to SOA term, after your peak registration, you turned time status calculation on, and now you ran your batch process, and you're good to go moving forward for the term.